The auction for this painting starts at $5. I began this painting with a pencil drawing on a Gessobords that was supplied by AMPERSAND. I don't always start with a pencil drawing, but it helps me to establish the correct placement and proportions of the shapes, especially when it's a complicated subject like this glass of water. I use thinned out acrylics for the first layer or two, and I paint right over the pencil lines because the paints are transparent. The glass of water is basically a patchwork of abstract shapes and colors, and when I first paint in the basic shapes, it looks like a mess. As I continue to add shapes and refine them, it starts to create the illusion of transparent glass. As I paint, I'm continually adjusting the values. Sometimes the shadows need to go darker, and then I also add in the brightest highlights, just so I have a full range of values in the painting. The white highlights make the glass look shiny, and they define some of the contours. I often switch between thick and thin paint, depending upon what I'm trying to accomplish. A thin transparent wash will allow me to make an area darker without covering over the existing details and textures. I felt as though the background would benefit from some subtle brush marks, and I also wanted to make it darker so the glass would stand out more. I lightened the color of the table, and I also wanted to create a layer of wet paint so that I can blend the edge into the background color. The softer edge will help to create the illusion of depth. I often turn a painting upside down so I can get to certain angles better. There's a lot of arcs in this glass. It's easier to paint them upside down because of the way your arm naturally wants to rotate in a slight arc when it moves sideways. Looking at a painting upside down gives me a fresh perspective, and I can often spot the weak areas that need to be fixed. From this point forward, it's mostly trying to put the finishing touches on it and figure out when it's done. Knowing when to stop is often the hardest part of making a painting. Once the painting was dry, I applied a coat of gloss varnish to it. Here's what it looks like when it's dry. I like the glossy finish and the subtle textures of the brushstrokes. There's a link to my original artwork in the description.